That fanfare, composed by the Chinese, was called Moment of Victory. The British fanfare, which we played later, is called The Victors. So Jiang Zemin leads the Chinese official party onto the stage. The Prince of Wales leads the British party, and they will take their places, ready for this ceremony, which will climax with the handover of sovereignty at midnight Hong Kong time. It brings, of course, Mr. Patton face to face with those who have, over the last 5 years, vilified him, accused him of being a prostitute, a whore, a tango dancer, and they have refused to meet him. And the first event will be a speech from the Prince of Wales.
President Jiang Zemin, Premier Li Peng, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this important and special ceremony marks a moment of both change and continuity in Hong Kong's history. It marks, first of all, the restoration of Hong Kong to the People's Republic of China under the terms of the Sino-British Joint Declaration of 1984, after more than 150 years of British administration. This ceremony also celebrates continuity because, by that same treaty and the many subsequent agreements which have been made to implement its provisions, the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region will have its own government and retain its own society, its own economy, and its own way of life. I should like to pay tribute this evening to those who turned the concept of one country, two systems into the Joint Declaration, and to the dedication and commitment of those who have worked so hard over the last 30 years to negotiate the details of the Joint Declaration's implementation. But most of all, I should like to pay tribute to the people of Hong Kong themselves for all that they have achieved in the last century and a half. The triumphant success of Hong Kong demands and deserves to be maintained. Hong Kong has shown the world how dynamism and stability can be defining characteristics of a successful society. These have together created a great economy which is the envy of the world. Hong Kong has shown the world how East and West can live and work together. As a flourishing commercial and cultural crossroads, it has brought us together and enriched all our lives. 30 years ago, the governments of the United Kingdom and the People's Republic of China recognized in the Joint Declaration that these special elements which have created a crucial condition for Hong Kong's success should continue. They agreed that in order to maintain that success, Hong Kong should have its own separate trading and financial system, should enjoy autonomy and an elected legislature, should maintain its laws and liberty, and should be run by the people of Hong Kong and be accountable to them. Those special elements have served Hong Kong well over the past 2 decades. Hong Kong has coped with the challenges of great economic, social, and political transition with almost none of the disturbance and dislocation which in other parts of the world have so often accompanied change on such a scale. The United Kingdom has been proud and privileged to have had responsibility for the people of Hong Kong, to have provided a framework of opportunity in which Hong Kong has so conspicuously succeeded, and to have been part of the success which the people of Hong Kong have made of their own opportunities. In a few moments, the United Kingdom's responsibilities will pass to the People's Republic of China. Hong Kong will thereby be restored to China, and within the framework of one country, two systems, it will continue to have a strong identity of its own and be an important international partner for many countries in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, China will tonight take responsibility for a place and a people which matter greatly to us all. The solemn pledges made before the world in the 1984 Joint Declaration guarantee the continuity of Hong Kong's way of life. For its part, the United Kingdom will maintain its unwavering support for the Joint Declaration. Our commitment and our strong links to Hong Kong will continue and will, I am confident, flourish as Hong Kong and its people themselves continue to flourish. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I should like, on behalf of Her Majesty the Queen and of the entire British people, to express our thanks, admiration, affection, and good wishes to all the people of Hong Kong who have been such staunch and special friends over so many generations. We shall not forget you, and we shall watch with the closest interest as you embark on this new era of your remarkable history.
Prince Charles turning away, he was very careful in that speech to spell out what it is that China has agreed to over Hong Kong and what it is that Britain will expect China to do.
For the flag ceremony. The Union flag and the Hong Kong flag will now be lowered, and the national flag of the People's Republic of China and the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region flag will be raised.
江泽民阁下
And now
讲
we are
话。
going to hear Jiang Zemin, the President of the People's Republic of China, the first Chinese leader ever to come to Hong Kong, who's waited until he comes in what in Chinese eyes is a moment of victory and celebration. And there'll be a great deal of interest in what he has to say at this moment for the future of Hong Kong. And Mr. Jiang is saying that the peaceful negotiations set a new model for the solution of all international disputes. And Mr. Jiang will be thinking particularly of Taiwan when he talks of this.
做出贡献的人士，向世界上所有关心和支持香港
Mr. Jiang
回归
is
的人们
welcoming the international support for the return of Hong Kong to its motherland.
这是庄
And
严
he
的
says
时
that
刻。
on this solemn
我
occasion,
想回到祖国怀抱
he
的600
expresses
多
his
万香港同
congratulations
胞
to the 6 million compatriots, Chinese compatriots in Hong Kong, who he says have returned to the embrace of the motherland.
香港回归后，中国政府将坚定不移地执行“一国两制”、港人治港。
Mr. Jiang says that there will be unswerving observation of the principle of one country, two systems, with the Hong Kong people having the right to administer themselves with a high degree of autonomy and maintaining their own way of life.
香港回归后，
Hong Kong, he says, will be unchanged in its laws.
负责管理
And
香港
after
的外交
the
事务
return of
和
Hong
防务
Kong, the
香港
government
特别行政区
will
依据
keep
基
its
本法
current laws
享有行政管理
and
权、
ensure the
司
rights
法
and
权、
protections of
多
Hong
地
Kong
的司法
residents.
权和终审权。香港居民依法享有
And he says there will be a gradual development of a democratic
香港
system
特别行政区
that suits
将
the Hong
循
Kong
序渐
reality.
进地发展适合香港实际情况的民主制度。香港回归后将继续保持自由
Mr.
港
Jiang
的地
has
位，
talked about it as a free port, an international trade
发挥
and shipping center,
国际金融、贸易、航
and
运
that it
中
will
心
be
的地位
allowed to go on maintaining
继续
separate ties,
同
economic
各国
and
地
cultural,
区
with other
及有
countries.
关国际
It will
组
not
织
be part
发
of
展经济
China
文化关
as
系。
far as these matters are
所有
concerned.
国家和地区在香港的正当经济利益将受到法律保护。
And
我
Mr.
希
Jiang, he
望
says he
世
hopes
界
the
上
return of
一切
Hong
在
Kong
香港有
will
投资和贸易利益的国
make
家
a
和
fresh
地区
start for Britain and
继续为
China
促进
so
香
that they
港
may
的繁荣
expand
稳
their
定做出
cooperation
努力。
in
香
other
港同
fields
胞
in future.
具有光荣的爱国主义传统，香港今日的繁荣归根到底
And Mr.
是
Jiang hopes that
香
those
港
who come here
同
to
胞
watch the
创
ceremony,
造
who are responsible
也
for
是
trading
从
interests,
祖
will
国内地的
continue
发
to
展
contribute to
和
Hong
支
Kong's
持分不开的。
prosperity.
我相信，有全国人民做坚强后盾，香港特别行政区政府和香港同胞一定能够管理和建设好香港，保持香港长期繁荣稳定，创造
And he
香
says
港
that Hong Kong's
更加
prosperity
美好
has
的
been
未
built
来。
by the Hong Kong people with the staunch support of the People's Republic of China. And he finishes by saying that the Hong Kong compatriots, in other words the people of Hong Kong, will be allowed to manage Hong Kong. Those are the words that the people here in the hall wanted to hear, an assurance that the agreement struck with Britain will be kept. And that concludes the ceremony.
So there it was. We sailed off on Britannia. Until midnight as the Queen's representative, the official programme always put my name ahead of that of the Prince of Wales. His Excellency the Governor and the Prince of Wales would do this and then that. At midnight reality returned. The Prince of Wales and Mr. Patten suddenly made an appearance. We sailed off in great style to Manila, accompanied by a fleet of 17 naval vessels. During the journey, the royal yacht sailed through the fleet for the last time. When she got home, the ship was decommissioned for lack of money. We built the Dome instead. I sometimes think we're mad. In Manila, we were met by the Navy of the Philippines. They fired a 21-gun salute. We later learned that they'd been using live rounds. Then my wife and I got onto a plane and flew back to Heathrow. We stood with our family and luggage in a queue for a taxi at Terminal 3, and that, I suppose, is how the British Empire really ended. And Hong Kong today? It's still flourishing, I'm pleased to say. The Chinese government has blocked any democratic progress. They intervened a couple of times in legal cases, but otherwise they've been on their best behaviour, and they've left Hong Kong to get on with its own life, and so it has. It's a free society, not yet a democratic one, but there's a strong sense of citizenship there. It's still a lively, rumbustious, cluttered and lovable port city, bringing together the best of China and some of the best of the West. No one has ever, or ever will, make any money betting against Hong Kong. I hope that one day China will follow its example. Being governor of Hong Kong was the best job I've ever had. And I think you'll have seen some of the reasons why this evening. But from those extraordinary scenes, I'd like to say farewell.
Prince Charles and Chris Patten mount the brow. And in the arena here, everyone who stayed is on their feet, whistling and cheering wishes of goodwill. And this perhaps is the moment that the leaving of Hong Kong will hit him. The family obviously overcome, so many friends left behind. A final decisive Patten wave.